up, guys? I know this isn't a normal video, but as you guys have probably already know by now, Matt Stafford got traded to the Los Angeles Rams last night, so we just want to touch on that. I know we're not a normal studio right now. It's snowing outside. Can't really be driving. Rather be safe than sorry. But yeah, we just want to give our thoughts on the Matt Stafford trade, everything that happened, how we feel about it.
As I'm sure you guys already know, the Lions traded away Matt Stafford last night for Jared Goff, 2 first-round picks and a 3rd-round pick.
The Lions got the steal of the century. So you look at it as, you see a guy, Matt Stafford, Detroit Lions, they came to a mutual agreement a while ago that they were going to move him in the offseason. It was nice they moved him to a good team. They didn't do him dirty because he's been there for so long. But, I mean, I think the value was way too much for Matt Stafford, in my opinion. I mean, Jared Goff, who's a young quarterback, you got 2 first-round picks, it's looking most likely going to be 2 late first-rounders, but still, likely. And then a 3rd to top it off. I mean, my very first thought, as soon as I saw the trade, is what does this mean for Deshaun Watson, and what is his value at?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I think this increased Deshaun Watson's value 100%. If you can get 2 first-round picks and
a 3rd
quarterback that's been to a Super Bowl, a young quarterback that's been to a Super Bowl, might not have played that well, but he's been to a Super Bowl, and you got that from Matthew Stafford, a guy who's in his 30s. He's
2 years left on his deal. I mean,
and he hasn't really proved himself so far in the NFL.
I think he has. We talked about it in the last week's video about him and how he is. But yeah, I just think that the Rams are kind of just going all in on this roster. I think it's Super Bowl or bust for them within the next 2 years now. Wouldn't you agree?
100%.
I mean, you saw
all the draft picks.
They're already in a horrible cap situation. Cooper Kupp, 100%. Robert Woods, Jalen Ramsey, Aaron Donald. I mean, they got rid of Jared Goff's contract, which is nice. And I think the next 2 years on Stafford's contract, I think it's 2-year, 30-something mil.
I think so too.
Yeah, but I mean, they saved a good bit of. The Rams saved a good bit of money by getting rid of Jared Goff, which benefits them in the long run. I think as good for. I like Jared Goff. I think he's a good quarterback, but I don't think he was playing worth his contract.
I think Jared Goff has done good enough, and I think he will be good enough to get a team to a Super Bowl. But I don't know if he'll get him over that hump to win a Super Bowl. Yeah. I could say the same thing for Matt Stafford, though. I mean, he's a quarterback that. He's gotten to the playoffs, but he's yet to win a playoff game.
Yeah, I just think it's definitely a weird situation on what happened. I wasn't expecting the Stafford trade to be that big at all. I was expecting maybe a 1st-round pick just straight up. Definitely not Jared Goff, 2 firsts and a 3rd, which I see why the Lions got so much capital because of Jared Goff's contract and how big it is. But, I mean, like I said, I think the Rams are Super Bowl or bust the next 2 years when Matt Stafford's contract goes up. I mean, you have all these big contracts on the board, no 1st-round picks. You don't really have any wiggle cap room, and you don't have a lot of draft picks. So, I mean, yeah, they're kind of just going all in with the guys they have and saying, look, we need to win a Super Bowl within the next few years, and if not, there's a problem.
And now the Lions are in a really good shape to rebuild.
Absolutely.
I mean, they are eating some cap with Jared Goff. They're paying him $30 million for the next couple of years, but they're in a position where they can afford to do that since they don't have a lot of players that they're paying. So now with the added draft capital, they can get some rookies on their rookie deals, and they can start to build a team around, whatever they're going to do.
I mean, the 2 first-round picks being late first-round picks, that decreases it a little bit, but still it's 2 extra first-round picks that you wouldn't have. And, I mean, this gives them more wiggle room to maybe bring back a guy like Kenny Golladay, who's going to be a free agent, Marvin Jones, if they like to bring him back. It is the Lions, like Ryan said, definitely in a great spot for a rebuild, definitely start off on the right foot, and they still have, was it the number 9 pick in the draft?
Yeah, really.
Number 9 pick, which is good. Could get it. But, yeah, the Lions are definitely on the right start of a rebuild, like you said. A lot 100%. Of capital. You got a lot of young pieces coming together. Their defense could use some work. They still got Jeff Okudah, DeAndre Swift, who had a pretty good year. They don't really have any other weapons on offense for Jared Goff. Right. T.J. Hawkinson, who had a Pro Bowl caliber year.
They have some young talent that hopefully they can build around. And with these first picks, hopefully
and now that they're pretty much out of the market for a quarterback, I think that gives them wiggle room to draft a top defensive prospect or even a top receiver if they're there, whether it's Jamar Chase, Devontae Smith, or Jalen Waddle, if they decide not to bring back Kenny Golladay or Marvin Jones. But there's a lot of different possibilities on the way they can go here and what the Lions can do with all this capital and wiggle room they have now that they got rid of Matt Stafford.
Yep. In conclusion, I think we both believe that the Lions made out in this trade more than the Rams
Like
did.
a bandit. They made out like bandits.
100%.
I think that I'm not going to completely knock the Rams. I think this is a good step for them to bring in Matt Stafford, a veteran guy who they think could bring them over that hump to make it through that tough division and to make a run in the playoffs.
I'm sorry to break it to you, but Matt Stafford would not be doing that.
We'll see, though. I mean, I think the Rams have a solid roster top to bottom. Could probably use another offensive lineman, maybe another explosive guy on the offensive end in the receiving core. But
Well, they won't be drafting one.
in the first round,
They won't be drafting
I
one.
saw something when I was looking into it. It was like in the last 6 drafts, the last pick that the Rams took in the first round was Jared Goff in 2016.
That's a long time ago.
Without using a first round pick. But I mean, look at them. They have a solid roster. It's not like they're sorry. They got a good team. Now we'll see what happens. I definitely am looking forward to see what Jared Goff does in Detroit. Start of the rebuild. And I like the Rams making a run in the playoffs this year. Now with the addition of Matt Stafford, they think they move up in a lot of people's favor to make it out of the NFC coming up.
I'm not a believer in Matt Stafford.
I think you're crazy. But like we said in the last video about Matt Stafford, we'll see.
We'll see. I'd rather have golf.
Yeah. This was just, by the way, just throw it out there, this was just a little extra segment. We're still going to be uploading every Wednesday. This is just something different we try to do. So upload a video reacting to the trade, giving our thoughts about it instead of waiting until Wednesday when we upload the podcast. But I hope you guys enjoyed. Make sure to like, subscribe, check the link in the description for the last week's podcast if you missed that. Last week's videos on the channel. Thank you guys for listening. We'll see you.
See ya.